Hey everybody. Let's make sure chat's working. Alright, so let me explain what we're working on. Previously, you can find this on YouTube, we started a Runnable Abstraction. All this is an interface in Go that's designed to be used for things that have this commonality of basically like running a POSIX program or process. There are a handful of different contexts for this. The three that kind of come to mind are actually running a process using exec, the built-in OS exec package. That's one way you can run a process. Another way you can run a process are indirect methods. So using Docker, you're ultimately running a process, but you're doing it through the Docker API. But a lot of the time, the way you interface with that process is just like running a process. So having an interface that would work for both of those is nice. And then there's a third example, which, once you get to 3, and this isn't, this is admittedly not a super necessary abstraction, it's just more of an exercise. But the third use case, which sort of, once you have 3 use cases, you start thinking, I've been thinking about this abstraction for a while. The third use case is SSH. So as a SSH client, you are also usually running a process. One of the things that those latter 2 processes that's sort of not considered when you normally run an OS exec is running stuff as a pseudo terminal. And so in those later 2 cases, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So having that built in is kind of important. And it's also just kind of structurally a little complex because there's a lot of pieces, right? There's the environment, there's standard I/O, which is 3 different kind of IOs. There's an exit status. When you're using a pseudo terminal, you need to know if it's a pseudo terminal. You need to be able to resize the window. And that's kind of, there's plenty of other things here, but hopefully, as kind of an example here, I'm working in the Glider Labs SSH package, which is a great package that we made for building SSH servers. Basically, it gives you something that feels a lot more like the NetHTTP library, but for SSH, right? The API was basically borrowed. SSH is much more complicated. Cadillac, hey, welcome. Feel free to ask any questions as we're going along. So we've used this for a lot of projects. One of the examples that we have in here is actually a Docker gateway, which basically is an SSH server where you can connect to it, and assuming you have Docker running on that machine, it takes whatever user you're connecting as the image to run, and then if you have any arguments that you're passing in your SSH connection, it will try and run those. If there's environment, it'll pass those along. So this is a really simple gateway, and it was just as an example of things you do with an SSH server. One of the kind of things that always bothered me about it, though, was just kind of how messy it felt, right? Docker itself has a lot of steps in order to just run something in it using the API. You have to create the container, you have to attach to the container, then you have to set up your I/O, you have to also set up cleanup because you want to remove the container when it's done. Then you start the container, and then depending on whether it's running as a interactive, I'll just say interactive because pseudo-terminal is a mouthful. If you're running interactively, then you need to send resizes, and then you need to wait. So this is all just kind of felt very messy, and it's not necessarily specific to this runnable abstraction. It'd be nice to kind of clean that up though in the process. What would be nice is to be able to write code that kind of looks like this, where we can just say, give us a new Docker runnable, and then we have this kind of mostly generic attach, which will take any runnable and attach it to this session. And so if we do this abstraction correctly, this code would work for anything. This line could change to a runnable, like a new exec runnable or a new SSH client runnable. So you could do kind of like a gateway to, you connect to this SSH server, it connects to another SSH server that then runs a process or whatever. So that's kind of what we're going for with this runnable abstraction. And our first implementation is a Docker runnable. And then we'll kind of go back and make sure that exec works with it. So we can have an exec runnable. And then maybe lastly, we'll do an SSH runnable. And then once we have that, we should be able to use this same attach method for all three of those scenarios. And this code could then become pluggable and just have a different runnable. So that would clean this code up a lot and clean up some of these other examples. But so that's what we're doing. I was trying to look up what we were doing before. It looks like we've got an attach here. And it looks like I was kind of in the middle of finishing implementing the Docker implementation of runnable. In this case, we set up a new runnable. Let's see, we create the container at new runnable. We have to implement run. Resize is here. So this, for example, let's see, I'm pretty sure it's handled in here. Yeah, interactive, window resizing, and run. I don't think we got to a point where I was actually running this code. I was just kind of making sure it compiles, but we'll see how this goes. So, let's see. Standard in we want as a writer. And I'll write to its standard in. So what do we normally have? This kind of ugly thing here. All right, we have to do this. Demultiplex the standard IO. And attach. I assume we'll do that on run. In this case, we're not worrying about Docker remove, because in this example we'd want that, but in this abstraction, it seems like we can leave that out of the scope of the implementation. It, in theory, could be something you add here as a defer. So it looks like we attach, and then we set up this kind of multiplexer thing. All right, and our Runnable API wants those to be readers. So I think that means we have to set up some pipes. So we have a reader that needs to go into a writer, and then we need to return the reader on the other end of that. Which is kind of obnoxious. This is something I hated about the Go exec API. Because I would often just set the standard in and standard out to writers that it would use. And you'd really only need to use these pipe creators if you wanted closers. Let's see, that's interesting. We don't have anything on closing standard IO. Very interesting. In terms of pipe that will be connected to the command standard error. Wait, we'll close the pipe. Okay. Wait closes the pipe. You know, this is an interesting one because I'm not sure whether these should be read closers. Because they're sort of the ultimate I guess there's no way to run this asynchronously, but that's kind of the point. Is this sort of wraps things up into, like, usually the only reason why you'd need to do start is, in the case of exec, is because you're setting stuff up, you're managing the streams and stuff like this. And here we're trying to make something where you can just run. So yeah, I don't think these need to have closers, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure there's edge cases I'm not thinking about. But the reason why I was talking about this anyway is because when you create pipes, there can be an error. That's kind of annoying, right? I wonder if there's an alternative to OS pipe. Like something in native Go, because, like, why do you need... Oh, that would be nice. Pipe. Well, here's the thing. It all happens in run, so I guess that's fine. So really these are just going to point to some IO that run created. Well, shit. We probably should create those pipes here. Yeah. Okay, if we can't create the container, I'm trying to think what we should try to do first. Guess we'll do some pipes. Our runner's gonna feed into those pipes. We need both ends. Okay. I wish there was a... I mean, this is an internal thing. Maybe I could do like a reader-writer type of like struct thing here. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. It's getting kind of silly. Maybe I should just stick to some top level stuff. All right, so we'll do this for all these. Oh. Oh, right, it doesn't exist yet. You know what? No? Oh, it's named up there. Alright, so now we've got a whole bunch of these. And these are just going to return their ends. Alright, and then we get into run. What do we need to do here? We need to attach. We need to copy the stream. tcdev0. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. It's Friday. Feeling pretty good. Wait a minute. You are a oh, Prime. Fellow Prime user. How are you? Gotta copy this stream. What else do we do? We've got to start it. I guess that's it. Back in the Docker business, I wouldn't say that. It just happens to be an example here. But I mean, my involvement in Docker was so Docker would exist because I want to use it for things. So I will always use it for stuff. But I wouldn't call this specifically a Docker project. So right now we're working on a Docker implementation of this runnable interface, but after that we'll do an exec and SSH implementation. Docker's just a messy one that we can kind of clean up this example with first. So let's see, we've created it. Oh, Doku, yeah, thank you. I miss Doku a little bit. But I also think my next big project will kind of like obsolete it. But I say that about everything. It's going to obsolete everything. So I don't know if it's true. I think it's true. Megalith. I mean, yeah, I mean... Megalith. Yeah, like Megalith is a direction, and the specific project here is manifold. So, which, let's see, this project in particular is not necessarily relevant. There might be places where this interface is helpful just to clean up the code, but this isn't particularly a component part of that. But a lot of the other streams for this channel, if you go to the event page for this this is actually part of a series here called Golang Component Lab. And most of the other streams in this are working on components that will be used in those things, so in Manifold. So, and in the meantime, we'll get to watch building a bunch of cool components. So, but this is more of an exercise project. So, we're gonna need a couple of things here. including a context, which I don't think we're going to support a context here. I might change my mind in the future, but for now, I'll just make a context to use. This would be, let's see, first this is client, this is dr client, and this is dr container. Are you storing a full? There's container ID. Why didn't that show up? And options, which maybe we'll just throw inline. There's an error, return that. So that's our attach. Then there's the, that gives us a stream, which we need to basically copy or demultiplex into these appropriate things here. I wonder if we use this output error. I guess so. So I will do that again. Let's see. Do we not know whether this is a PTY? Oh, I guess it's stored in the config, so I'll just look that up. All right, so in this case, what are we saying? It's all going to standard out. So we'll write that. It's our stream reader. And here, that, and the standard error. So run's gonna create that go routine. So that's our copy stream. I wonder if we could use run. We might do a run instead of a start. Do we need to? This is sort of orthogonal. Does resize possibly return an error in our runner API? It does not. Container resize. I mean, it's fire and forget. I don't know. It seems really bad to not. What's the word? Bubble up errors. So resize could return an error. Thing is, it's kind of an asynchronous. Well, this is all kind of a library, so we'll let them figure out what they want to do with it. So we might be able to just run instead of start, because run basically does this. I hate that I keep going to that. thank you. Oh, that is not just a follow, a sub. Thank you, TC Dev. I appreciate that. So we got that going on. I'm trying to figure out what I was looking at. Was I looking at this? So does client, Docker client, I think has a run? Doesn't want to tell me. Fucking VS Code is not always my friend. I mean, it actually makes sense that they wouldn't have a run. Run is more a convenience that exec has, right? But let's check. I don't think there is. In fact, now that I'm remembering how the Docker world, yeah, their API does not do run. That's fine. So we start and wait. I'll grab that code here. It's part of it. This is the other part. All right, let's kind of clean this up. We've got this attach. We've got this container start and then wait. This is dr client. Are we reusing our context from before? I guess our container ID. Return error. If there's questions about Go, I'm happy to answer those. Feel free to distract me. This is kind of interesting. This whole part of the API, but so we actually want to put this, what is this? VS Code isn't going to tell me. Result. Int 64. I think we can. I mean, I don't think it needs to be an int 64. It's gonna make us. Explicitly cast that. I guess. Yeah, so here's our run implementation. Oh, it doesn't like that. That's, let's see, where's our config? It might be worth actually checking these before making those pipes, huh? And not make them if you don't want to attach. And then we gotta do stuff. Oh, where are we streaming stuff in? Where's the input to Docker? I guess this. Where are we doing this? Start. I guess we could do that here. while we were doing it after. Or before start. I mean, it doesn't, yeah, might as well do it before. Let's see, is this correct? Write it there, and our input is dr standard in reader. I mean, probably want this error, right? I did it for output. Yeah, we can't do that. It's like, why didn't we do that before? Oh, because we're assigning it twice. Or there's two. You know what I mean. I guess these make for good headers. So you can at a glance see what it's doing. In which case, Thruxis, thank you for following. There's also, feel free to say hi, but I should also mention that there is this Golang component lab. Since I stream a lot of stuff, it might be a good idea to do remind me on this this particular event. If you go to my channel, go to events, and etc. I'll find this somewhere in there. That's a Microsoft purchase joke. Man, I don't think they're gonna do much to it. I think they know better. That said, for how long? So it's more of a matter of time before they... I'd say 3 years. 3 years, they'll leave it alone for the most part, let it operate autonomously, because they wouldn't want to ruin the magic of what they just bought. And then I know Chris is super into doing machine learning stuff with the GitHub data, and so before 3 years you might see some new features that have to do with machine learning and some tools and stuff like that. I don't think you're gonna see like Microsoft meddling with the product for at least 3 years. I don't know why I didn't format that. Is Go format not running on this? Let's see. Oh, so we need to handle this. If there's an input error, that would be one of these actually. Totally. Which is why I think they wouldn't want to do that. They try. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about what Microsoft gains. But I think it's mostly the data set. Like if they know what the majority of the code in the world is doing, they can better enable developers. I think they want to do that. Because the more they can empower developers, the more they can convince people to use their platforms. And is there really vendor lock-in for GitHub? I feel like vendor lock-in is Azure deployment. Yeah. Oh god, if this is just a long play Azure thing, I'm gonna be so upset. It can't be. That sounds pretty reasonable. Empty lich. Good call. I think this is done, right? That's probably why I'm like, what do I do next? I don't know, because it's done. I mean, obviously it's not done. We don't know if it works. Let's see, I don't think we're doing anything to test that this works. We're not doing any tests, which is another thing we'll come back to, but we'll at least try and get this to run. Let's see, runnable main. Let's see, Docker. What's the example? Let's see that we can make sure that this the original Docker example still works, and that I remember how to make it work. Also, is Docker running? Okay. Let's do go run. Make sure that they're all right. We gotta do a user. I don't know what it would be. Do we properly PTY? So interactive. We can do Alpine. What happens if we give no command? So it works. I think that's. Can we do something interactive though? Yeah. Well, Okay, somebody somewhere is not doing something. Always mess up what this is. So SSH is fine. Oh no, because it's not running it. Okay, so I would need to. It's SSH. Or rather, it's me. Because you give it a command, it's gonna run it without a terminal. Okay. So that's whatever, nothing special. As we're doing Docker run, we can actually change that to main. Or go run. We could say go run runnable and test this out. Although this is going to complain. So if all goes well, this will work just the same. I'll clean this up later. But obviously this was fake. I need to write a real one. Oops. The hell is this readme? Oh, Steve wrote that. Okay. Ooh, did not like that. So we are doing something wrong. I don't think we're checking this error. Error response from daemon. No command specified. It's true, though. Docker runnable. Yeah, we would need to set up our config. And so it would look more like this. Yes. We can try this without any. Oh. Kind of wish there was like some other APIs to our session API. It's just so big. I hate. Linux. Here's a shell. We got the exec code. What else? This would do the same thing. I don't know why I'm doing it. Okay. Let's see. We could do some more testing, but might want to just move along and write an exec runnable and see that it works with our generic attach and mostly generic main code here. So again, this runnable interface, by coming up with this and getting it to work for Docker and SH clients and exec, we can create a generic attach for SSH servers that would basically let you say, hey, this SSH session that was just created, attach it to this runnable or this runnable or this runnable. So that's kind of why we're working in the SSH project, because this is really, in terms of an abstraction, it's mostly useful for like making SSH servers. Most of my SSH servers either want to run one of those three things, and so I write a lot of the same kind of boilerplate stuff, and so this hopefully clean things up as well. So Welcome back to Docker Runnable. Maybe let's instead, well, let's call it we're not shipping any code yet, so I'm just gonna rename it to that and create a new one, our new main that we'll use to test our exec. So exec, we don't need to do this. Probably or this, we'll say right, and then whatever exec wants us to do here. So normally, yeah, we could basically do this. Go developers, listen to classical music. I could see that. I'm sure that number is, as it makes sense regardless of the situation. As the Go community grows, that percentage will get smaller and smaller as it becomes a better representation of a larger sample of the average population. But yeah, so let's say we want to run something like, what was our other exec example? Well, let's do a non-exec example for something like, I don't know, uname. Does that work? Can you just say uname with no args? Yeah. We'll do it with an argument. All right, now we need to make this. Let's see, we'll split all this stuff out eventually. Let's see, attach this generic. Let's see. That's why I was looking at that page. What does this return? A runnable, well, specifically, oh shit. Just noticed that. Let's do that. And we don't have that type yet. Pointer to an exec runnable and error, which is an error. I mean, this is not that complicated. Let's see here. So obviously we're gonna have our command. Get a command. I listen to classical though, mostly in the car. I hate our radio station. I hate most classical radio stations. The only one that I liked was, I think, Beethoven.com, which was a local station that, like, let's see if they're still around. Beethoven.com. The tagline was classical music without the attitude. Are they not around? They seem more like less stuck-up people. Not that DJs on classical music are stuck up. They just seem it. And then when they try and seem kind of cool or quirky, because we're in Austin, so you gotta identify with Austin's weirdness. Their tagline is, oh god, on key and off beat. It's stupid. It's clever. It's stupid. Oh wait, there's possibly an error in this case. All right. So far, that's all we need to. 2 variables, 1 value. What? Oh, there's no error. It's not doing anything. It doesn't do anything there. And if there's no error, then we can just do it in line there. Get your shit together, Jeff. Yeah, we don't really need to do anything else here. I'm gonna just try and return this. We are gonna, yeah, set of pipes, I think. What now? Oh, it doesn't like that they're, tried to auto fix that and it did it wrong. And why even return an error? But whatever. Well, we'll see. We'll probably have to set up pipes. Let's get the rest of the implementation mocked out. Let's do it this way. Is there a way to like text me in VS Code to write on multiple lines? I know if you do like, what is it? Something D. That looks for similar things. No. Oh well. This is exec runnable. Alright. The environment. I think we can just do. Pretty sure that's what that is. Whoops. I mean, why not just be R, right? This is where I can do D. Nope. What is it? Alt D? Nope. No. No. All right. Wait, what? Yes? Give me that. No? I don't know what just happened. What just happened? Oh man. I'm confused. I'm confused also because undo isn't undoing this. Oh. It did like some kind of combo. Okay. Okay, clearly I'm not old enough to use Visual Studio Code. Oh, did it really? Oh, that's crazy. If it does what if it did what I think it did. Ah, Empty Lich, thanks for following. Got this obnoxious follower goal that you just helped out with. Yes. Okay, cool. And then set and oh shit. I don't think it has one. We'll just have to do an append. Interesting. There's no returning here. I mean, if we were to write tests for this and do race check, I'm sure there would be, we'd have to put a mutex in here, but I usually, I mean, well, the other stuff that I write on here is very much like starting from scratch, so there's like prototyping, but I'm trying to do them with tests so that they have tests throughout, so it's actually good code that we can use, but this, because this is an exercise, I'm a little less inclined to push for that because it does take a lot longer. And this, you know, there's so much more, I don't know, design thought into this. Although it's mostly, we're just trying to get things to work now. In theory, we have a first pass at this interface. Okay, we are gonna have to set up pipes, right? Yes, yes, yes. So we'll do that here. Maybe we'll, yeah. I guess we'll do what we did here. I wonder if we can, yep, copy all that. Interesting. Yeah, we could try and do it afterwards. If we're like, I don't think I need to do that, but I'd rather be explicit about it. Because otherwise it would return R. Yeah, so I think that's all we have to do there. Does that change anything in our example? No. Okay. So now we just implement more of these, which we can copy from our Docker one because it's just using pipes in the same way. Happy? Okay. Exit status. Obviously, we have to store that. Federated alternative to Hacker News. It's compatible with Mastodon. Check out some code. Streamers, see whether I should stream as well. I think I probably end up doing it. I think you should as well. You know, might not have many people watching, but it helps. Oh look, I did a lock on this one. I guess I'll do a lock on it, fine. I think it's good also for just helping you stay focused. These will be there. This needs it. This needs it. These other ones too. Is PTY. So basically our implementation needs to, well, we could do it where is PTY is always false, because using this alone we can't do that, but obviously so we'll come back to interactive stuff. We'll just implement this where it's always false. Which also means this basically is a no-op. And this is where most of the stuff happens. Oh, I don't think Paul's in here. Are you looking for him? Where is he? He's pixel art for me. I guess you're doing all the pixel art. He's got level designs for me. Oh, these are all under MU. That's better. Oh, okay. What's our exit status? Yeah, just another one of those. Because we have to get it from the command after it's run. And then what's an example where we do that? This one, sort of. Wait. I totally realized we don't. Yeah. This should be R command standard in pipe, right? Yeah, so we actually don't need half of our thingies. So a right closer. I'll leave it that for now. Standard out pipe, which is a read. Another reader. But we'll rename them. Okay. I mean, at that point, I'm pretty sure we can actually just call run, right? But we want to make sure we capture the exit status, so we'll have to do all that nonsense, which is non-trivial. That's another thing. Exec, because it's part of the standard library, you know, the exit status is, you know, not cross-platform, so it's a bit of a process to get the exit status when you use OS exec. Whereas this abstraction is like, no, just like SSH, like whatever you're connecting to, it's, you know, just ignore the exit code if it doesn't have one. I wish OS exec kind of assumed that as well. It's like you're probably going to deal with an exit code, but if there is no exit code, it'll return nil or something. I don't know. I've written this so many times. I'm like, I don't feel like I should write this. I've written it so many times. What do we get? We get an error. And then this is the part where, let's see, what did I build recently that just command run? I think it was this prototype. Something in here maybe? No, save it. Let's see, maybe it was in the supervisor, I think? Yeah, because supervisor runs stuff, so. Exit status. Yes, this. All right. Uh-oh. I don't think I meant to do that. I mean, this is basically the function, so. Okay, this is returning it, but we want to set it. So that's R status, exit status, an int, okay. Otherwise, it's zero value is totally fine, so we don't really need to set it anywhere else. Let's see, return error. Right, and then this is return nil. Eh? I mean, I could have done this, but it's sort of like unexpected, so get rid of this. So, what else? Probably should lock on setting this, right? Did we do something else? Did we exit status? Yeah, we lock there. All right, so basic run wrap. I mean, because there's not a whole lot to using exec command, especially compared to Docker. We probably want to do something where we actually return the command as well, just so that you. Is that true? You can set env. I want to set directory. That's really the only thing. Working directory, huh? I mean, it could be a. We'd either make command public. Why not? Or, you know what? We could embed it. We could embed it. So, the runnable is also a command. You can just set you know, whatever on it. Is this gonna be a problem? That's gonna be a problem. All right. Maybe I'll just change these to all command. Just to be safe, I run into a bunch of, you know, mistakes where I should have just done this. Okay. Okay. Runnable. That's it, I think, now. So, again, that's true. We'll come back around to do that. Let's just make sure this works. So in this case, we can pass anything. We can also run it interactive. Yeah, this will run uname-a. There it is. We could run it without. Is there a way to force off using a terminal when you don't have a command? SSH, man, SSH. What am I looking for? Something with T. Disable terminal. Disable is capital T. Okay. Oops, that's not it. That's not it either. There we go. So what about something interactive? Well, we don't really support interactive stuff. Lagging a bit, huh? I've got high bits out, so might be you, or it could be Twitch. What about echo? Let's see what happens if we do. Something like. Okay, so we can actually pass the command in. We'll do that. So that'd be session command 0. This is dangerous. How else? What would it be like arg? That would have been smart. Can you range slices stuff? I forget. Going slice. I don't know. Yeah. Two indices, low and high, not start and length. I believe that will work. No? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. now we should be able to specify uname here. Yeah. And we can run it again. We can run a different version. We can say echo hello. It's hello. We could do cat and then echo hello. And then it stays open. Oh, how do we close this? The Control W? No. Control C? D? Z? No. Well, okay, what is... Control D. And stars, end of input. Application is reading from the terminal. Well, that's interesting. Well, it's not a terminal, I guess. That's interesting. You could only do that if it was interactive. Well, but the program ends. I guess it doesn't know that. How do you know when the standard error is over? I think this is one of those things where it's always a difficult to know situation. Yeah, it's kind of why Docker has all those flags. But, you know, okay, this is good enough. Let's see. I guess we can make it. We'll think about how we would do this interactively. Because we could just use a library. I often use krpty. I don't know. What to do. Well, I guess no, exactly. We would do it the exact same way, because we would be like ptmx. How's that used? Well, you know. Pretty sure I have it. So we would use it because we're going to basically say here if then ooh, that's interesting. That is interesting. No, I think this has to be in our implementation. speed up our implementation here. Yeah, we'd have to replace those pipes because we'd want to work with the file that PTY gave us. Which means you probably want to do it before you create those useless pipes. Let's see, how could we do this? We could do... Could be the first argument. We'll try it this way. See how it feels. Say if pty else all this. Could be an OS file, because that's what it returns, right? Yeah. Our package is called that, though. I can see why they're calling it PTMX. Well, I guess it's always... Okay, no, this is fine. And that's... Okay. We're cool. This might need to be different, but... I mean, since they're loosely interchangeable... Yeah, pajama. Yeah. No. R.pty, right? Yes. Perfect. Okay, what else? This is all input stuff. This is input. Yeah, I think we just read on this IO object. So our, let's see, I guess we just, I feel like I've written this before too. different. We'll just return nil. And of course, although, do we want to start it? We're not starting it there. Start the command. Is there like a version of this that doesn't start it? I mean, that would be nice. But that wouldn't make sense. I don't think they could do that. What? Open? No. Yeah, no, that's not it either. Is there set size? There's only get size. That's cool. This is helpful too, but oh, set size. There we go. I always end up doing that myself. One of these is not used. I forget which. I think it's just XY. Okay. Shit. I could create my own pipes. I think that's what I have to do. Pipes, right? A couple of these. Yeah, we do need the other ends of these now. Damn it. Well, so maybe we could do like standard in, other, you know, something stupid like this. And we don't need one for standard error. So then standard in. Standard out. So at least there's something there so that this will work. And we don't need to do this now. Which is good. Simplifies. It's very redundant kind of implementation here. And this would be nil. I didn't even need to check that before. All right. Let's see. This now. Not that this will change, but in our resize, yeah, set size. That's what. What is this? PTY set size R PTY equals width. Calls equals height. I'm very curious how this whole thing came up. I mean, I know that how this is used, but like to make it standard, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of X stuff kind of built into SSH. This returns an error, so I can just do this. That's nice. It's good. How does this work then? If we run it, because we don't run it, we hit start. So we wait. Do we wait? They don't even wait here. They don't even wait. I guess I'll wait. So first we do that. Close it at the end, that's true. At this point, we'll call it P. What? What? Why would you do this instead of just calling defer ptmx close? Does anybody know? Best effort. I mean, so is just deferring to close. Do I? I guess I'm gonna. And then I would call wait, as I would normally. Which, oh man, okay, no, this is fine. No, we have to do a check if R pty is pty. Definitely do that. Else all right, we're gonna do this. No. Right. Okay. What? Oh my God. Okay. We use this now like this, so we would say true, or actually we'd say is tty. Right? Happy? Yes? Okay. And we wouldn't have to change anything else, because that's the whole point. Runnable is fine, attach will work fine. So let's try it. What's our example that we want to run? Something like watch or PS. What do we do in this? Top. Let's try running top. Okay. I mean, it is. Oh man. It's. Stop. Watch date. Let's try that. Whoa. This is probably something that we care about. So we would say runnable set env term. What was it? Oh. Excuse me? Oh. I don't think that was the problem, but yeah. Let's see, where do you think that error happens? We're not wrapping these, so it's actually hard to tell. I mean, it wouldn't be these. It's obviously run, right? It's gotta be attach. It should probably be attach and run because it does run it. Oh look, we even do this. So I don't need to do that, right? Because it would do that, right? Yes. I'm gonna rename it to attach and run. But what? Let's see. Twice start. Google. It is a term variable, huh? Well, it should be passing my term, right? So it's like P2I request term. Runnable is P2I, right? What language am I in? Is it really not passing it? I don't think so. Oh, it's not even getting there. Oh, that's not interactive. That's true. Okay, what if I do this? Because I'm specifying a command, it's not setting up a terminal. Again, SSH client assumptions. Okay. I don't know what it's doing. It's like locked up. That's weird, huh? I did something wrong. Get rid of this. So let's see here. Is it because of this? What the hell? No, if it's not, then we don't do that. Grab, stand it out. Let me do that. It's fine. That should be fine. Those are pipes, so. That's a writer, that's a reader. That's run before set end is. Yeah, run is the last thing called. And it tries to run it. So the problem right now is we're not getting any I/O. Alright, as attached to it. Right into whatever that is, yeah. Output's the main thing we're worried about here. Runnable, standard out. Right? Wait, are we not copying? No, do we have to? No, we're not copying anything. I see. So we set this up, but we need to copy into those. That's what we're missing. And again, the reason why we are doing that is because we want references to these before this has been created. If we did our own implementation of P2I, then maybe we could do that, but the API that they gave us doesn't let us do this, so. So like Docker, Docker's run, we have to do this. And we only have to do it. Wait's not going to give us a... I guess I can run them all. Go routines. Okay. Here is where we would set those up, but then we have to worry about those errors. And we'll not worry about the errors for now. Famous last words. So we will write. Wait. P is a... I don't think this will work. Our terminal... Its writer is a... a writer itself, so we just have two writers. We'd have to set up two go routines for each end of the pipe. I don't like that. Like, what's the point? Could we set this to like some kind of mock file where just... Well, we wouldn't want that because we'd swap it out. I think we have to create some kind of like read writer that's like one that will block until its actual reader and writer is set. It makes me almost want to just re-implement this PTY, but I'm sure it would come with a lot of code I don't want to deal with or write in this. This isn't so bad. Let's see what open is. I see. That's the thing. What would it be here? Yeah, I don't want to do all this. I don't want to have all this code. But I could call open myself. Okay, wait, let me think about this. Let me think about this. Yes, I could call open myself, get those ends, and then basically do this. So I do open up ahead of time. Okay, okay. So it does look more like I originally wanted to do it, where this is, let's see, do I need both? I think I need both. PTY, TTY. Yeah, I do need both. We're almost done, so I will. Oh man, and we won't need these. Or this. Right? No, because we won't need these other ends. Alright, so if TTY here, we are going to do PTY, TTY. PTY, TTY. PTY. Right? And then we are going to do a conditional here. Although we could just set, we could. Our standard in becomes our PTY. Our standard out becomes our PTY. And standard error is also our PTY. Is that what they did? Oh, that's but writing to it, right? So I don't want to do that on the other end. Yeah, okay, so that all works. And then we'll have to do this ourselves. Mostly just copy up to here. Let's see, this is R CMD. RCMB start. Of course, PTY close. Right. I mean, really, we would close both of them, right? And then, so what does that mean? That we don't have to copy any of this stuff. So I think that's it. Nope. What's his problem? Oh. All right, let's go. There we go. What's another? Need to try top, right? Window size doesn't seem to be working. That's interesting. RPTY. Those are being called. And attach is calling those. I don't know. It works otherwise. I will mark this as for resizes. So there we go. We've got two runnable implementations, and we have two examples that attach and run them. Our next example, we could do an SSH client example. I think that one's pretty, obvious if you know how to do a client, and you have these two examples. So I guess the point of that would be to know whether or not we need to fix anything in this, but I think we've developed this to a point and validated it to a point where we can be like, this is mostly going to work. And so in the future, we'll kind of like wrap this project, this series, mini sub-series or whatever, up here until we start using this again. And as we come back to using it, we'll kind of refactor it as we go. This is an exercise. I'm probably not going to push this up yet because this was just kind of like messing around with files in this project. But if you do want this code, leave a comment or something, and I will put it up. It'll be up eventually in some form. I just, don't know how yet. So let me know. So that's it. That wraps this up. That's cool. All right. It's Friday. Have a good weekend. I'm gonna be back next week, hopefully on a more regular schedule. This week, I was closing on a house purchase and announced the game last week, and then had to do a Wagos show the game this week, so I was rushing to finish that. So things got a little out of routine, but I'm gonna make sure next week we get back to basically something new. Both of the two things that were running along in parallel have finished, so now we can go on to something new. I'm really interested in might have some one-off projects if I don't do it sooner. For example, I want to write some tools to help automate setting up Twitch. I have 2 streams, and it's actually a lot of work to get all the software set up to get set up between the 2 streams. And so if I could just run a script every time to switch between them, that would be great. So it might be that, or we might be going on to the next component that we're going to build. So yeah, keep an eye on the event page for the component lab. Remind me, I'm going to be adding events as I know what I'm going to do next week, and so they'll be up there. I only go kind of a week at a time, but then also, you can check out my main stream every day. I'm also working on the game, but all right, that's it. See you later. Have a good weekend.